Do you know the difference between your balance and your limit on your home loan? Do you know why it's important to understand the difference? Hi, this is Daniel. I provide regular videos about finance to help you make better finance decisions. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the very important difference between your balance and the limit on your home loan. And the reason why I wanted to talk to you about is because I have a feeling that there are a lot of people out there that don't really understand the difference. I was talking to a client yesterday, spent a good 20 minutes going over the differences. She was trying to refinance, and it was really important that she understand the difference between the two. All right, so let's have a look at a specific example so that you understand exactly the difference. So let's imagine that you borrow money, you have a home loan of $500,000. $500,000, that your interest rate is 4%, and you borrow over 30 years. All right, so as soon as you settle, your limit is $500,000. All right, that's what you start with. That's what you borrowed. That's what you borrow from the bank. That's what you owe the bank. Great. So now let's have a look at what happens after a year. Okay, in year one, what is your limit? If you pay 4% over 30 years, the limit would have gone down to about $494, $195. So you would have paid off about or just under $6,000 off your principal. Okay, that's if you make your regular, normal, contractually agreed repayments. Okay, now what happens to your balance? Is that the same? Now it will depend on whether you have made any extra repayments over that year. Extra repayments, I mean extra repayments on top of the minimum repayments you've agreed in the contract. So let's imagine that you've made no repayments. You just paid the minimum. Now your balance, which is calculated as the difference between the limit less the extra repayments you would have made, well, it really hasn't changed. It's still the same. So your balance and the limit in this case are exactly the same. All right? Now, what happens if you make extra repayments? What happens if you came into some money and you decided to put that into your home loan? What if you decided to make some extra repayments with each repayment? Imagine, let's assume that you've made $10,000 worth of repayments over that year. What is now your balance? Now your balance, remember, is calculated the difference between your limit and the repayments is your balance. So in other words, your balance now would be $484, $195. You can see the difference. Here's $495, here's $484. So what does that mean? Your interest rate, remember, it's calculated on the balance of your loan. Here's calculated on $494, and here's calculated on $484. So the interest cost is slightly less, okay? But why is it important to understand the difference between the balance and the limit? Because let's say you want to refinance. The question is always going to be, are you refinancing at the balance or are you refinancing at the limit? Obviously, in this particular case, because there's no difference, it doesn't really matter. Now, however, if you are refinancing at, in this example, where there's a $10,000 difference between the balance and the limit, understanding what you're doing as far as the refinancing is concerned is very, very important. Are you refinancing at $484 or are you refinancing at $495? Why is it important? Because if you refinance at $484, that $10,000 in extra repayments, which are normally available to you, would then be gone, because it basically means you've paid down the loan by an extra $10,000. So you restart the new loan at $484. If you don't want to do that and you want to refinance at $494, sorry. So what you need to do is to make sure the bank understands we are refinancing at the limit. Or if you want to be doubly sure, what you do, you take that money out of the account before settlement. So you force the bank to refinance you at the limit. All right, so understand that. So it's really you understand the difference between the balance and the limit. Now, let's have a quick chat about these extra repayments. The banks will call that money different ways. Some will call that money available in redraw. Some will call that funds available. It doesn't really matter. It all means exactly the same. It basically means that that money should be available to you as a redraw. In other words, you can take that money out and use it as you wish. It doesn't matter what the banks call it. It basically means that that money, those funds are available to you for redraw. You can take it out and use it again. What happens if you take it out? Then again, your extra repayments go down to 0 and it goes back to 494. Now you need to understand that some banks will charge you for a redraw. So make sure you check with the bank. Most banks will have, or most banks that I deal with will charge no fee for electronic redraws. In other words, if you go online on your banking online platform, you make a transfer from your home loan to your account, usually that's free. It's usually not free if you do it at the branch level. They will charge you a fee. All right, so make sure you check with your bank to find out where and when and how much fee do they charge. It's very important that you understand. So hopefully you understand the difference between your balance and limit. Understand that you calculate the balance as the difference between your limit and your extra repayments. If you've got any questions, as usual, leave a message down there, or you can IM me directly, or you can email me directly. Or if you want to have a chat about your particular case, if you got more questions about the difference between balance and limit or anything else related to your home loan, you can book a 15-minute phone call with me. I blocked 2 hours of my time on Wednesdays and Friday afternoon to talk to people like yourself for 15 minutes. And remember that 15 minutes is absolutely free of cost and commitments. So make sure you take advantage. Until next time, bye.